Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Singapore. We're under the lights for round 9 of season 23 in the F2 Championship here in PSGL, and as you can see we've got a relatively good sized lobby. Love to see it. 16 drivers here tonight, and we're going to see these guys tackle the most incredibly difficult conditions. It's going to be wet at the start, full heavy rain, then to inters, then to dries. It's going to be one of those races, a bit like I think Canada, wasn't it? So it'll be interesting to see how this all plans out for these guys. I can't wait to see what they'll be up to. But Abby is the first one to start a lap. I'm coming to their own wide, of course, in case I hadn't said that already. Kind of keep forgetting to say that recently. Yeah, hello, back again. Hopefully I should be here every week now. Oh man, that's a bit too much there for Abby. He was losing the back end a bit in the early stages, looking like he was struggling with the rear end, but that's just one slide too much as he goes off the track and hits the wall on his soft compound tyres. We will start in full wet, by the way, so it is going to be all about the track position and qualifying on the softs. And Maxi is just a bit late, isn't he? He's going to have to start last, and in the rain here, honestly, maybe that's not such a bad thing, being at the back. I don't know, maybe avoiding all the accidents when they happen. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how track limits works out here, because it's weird to see how the guys do it in real F1. You know, they'll be getting up close to all the walls. Here on this game it wouldn't be allowed most of the time, but that's certainly one step too far. So now both end plates gone on Jack's car. Let's actually try and find someone on the soft who's about to start a lap. I want to watch Nick in the Mercedes. No pressure to the lad in the silver arrow with a pink helmet. He's doing the F1 driver's speciality here and slowing it right down before getting his lap started. We'll ride on board, sure. And yeah, take a lap around the Singapore Grand Prix circuit here at Marina Bay. So, starting the lap off, down towards turn 1, the very wide entry, as far to the left hand side of that, or the right hand side of the white line as you can go. Opens up the entry to turn 1 and 2, which in turn helps turn 3's rotation, I guess, keeps it more stable into braking. Turn 4 is a non-corner. Turn 5 is the one you need to get really well done, because if you miss the apex even slightly there, you're in trouble. Down Raffles Boulevard to the end of the first sectors. Boulevard, sorry, not Boulevard. Close though, it was that. Turn 7, easy extend here, but it looks like Nick's done it very well there. Turn 8 to 1, easy to go wide on, but sometimes it's okay to go a little wide here. Maybe the curb can spit you wide. Turn 9 is a difficult one to get. We saw Abby lose it here by just putting a bit too much power on too early. It's one you have to be patient in. It's a quick corner, but still a difficult one. Turn 10, a lot easier than the old Singapore sling, that's for sure. Turn 11 and 12. It's really easy to lose the back end, especially on that left kink, but it looks like Nick's doing everything he needs to do to get a decent lap underway here. My god. AMS is on pole at the moment, I think, with the fastest time. 1 minute 36, and then Tom, a second quicker on his mediums, a 1 minute 35.5. Let's see if Nick can beat that. He should be able to do so into turns 16 and 17. Well taken through there. Into the tunnel section. Surprisingly, this is actually going to be removed from the Singapore track potentially in the next few years, because of the developments going on around that part of the circuit soon. So we may lose that bit from next year's game. It depends really when they do that. But yeah, just an interesting thing to note. But through the final corner, Nick isn't going to go top. In fact, he's going to just miss out by a few hundredths of a second. So while it was a good lap, it wasn't a great lap. No one else is really on a lap apart from our championship favourite, Will Murdoch. I think the PSGL Twitter got the time wrong for the stream. People end up turning up because of that. It's at 8 PM on the tweet there. Anyway, sorry. Luckily there's no real laps going on. Will finishing his off, only P3, but it's an early lap, really. I want to watch Maxi. He hopped back into his car, looks like he was able to do that. Sometimes you're not able to do it, and sometimes you just have to start from the back, but luckily Maxi got back in. I think he had to go and get a setup, so yeah, I think Skivan might have been doing the same thing. Oh, but that's into the wall for Maxi. A set of tyres ruined. And front wing ruined probably as well in the process. And out of the session. Not a great run there from Maxi, who took all that effort to put a setup on. Clearly must have put a wrong setup on or something. But there is his qualifying ending in the wall at turn 10, where I think we saw Alexander Albon go off in a real F1, at least in practice. We've got Big C in the chat. Lovely to see you. Hope you enjoyed Maxi Luca's great driving there. And we now watch as TTG Jack tries to do a bit better than that, hopefully. 6 of y'all in here. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're all very welcome. I don't know how Maxi actually hit that wall on the inside of turn 10. It's really easy to miss that wall, but oh well. Looks like Jack's got a lot more aggression for here than Nick did, and that should help him go up to P1. But let's not assume anything until he gets to the end. Skiban might have the no audio glitch. That should go away after qualifying, but you may have to just deal with a silent few laps, unfortunately. Yellows are coming up all the time, but honestly, no real point looking at them. If we see someone retire, it'll pop up on the screen, really. We've already had 2, Max Luca and Warren. That leaves only one TTG driver out there circulating, that being TTG Jack in the Alfa Romeo. Let's see where he can get in these standings. It should be easily top 6. Obviously, it's only been 6 times. But let's see whereabouts in that top 6. It's P1. 1 minute 34.8. What about that laggy person? He's on a lap as well. And he's out of ERS, so he's out of deployable energy. And he's nearly a second off his teammate. Tom's out of the pits, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do. He was pretty handy on the mediums, wasn't it? Oh, Abby's hit the wall on the pit lane entry. Lucky to not be spat back out onto the track, because you can easily get into real trouble if you do that, but he's luckily avoided any major accident there. Yellows, sector 2, but nothing really too interesting going on, I don't think. Right, who's close to the end of their out lap then? Skivan is. What about Praga? Is Praga close? Praga's the closest in his Ferrari. Only 10 times have been set so far, and TTG Jack is currently top of those times. Let's see what Praga can do in the Scuderia Ferrari. The car obviously stormed to victory in Singapore just yesterday evening. For Singapore people, anyway. A 1-2 that was for Ferrari that day. Be interesting to see if they can replicate that here. Some would say unlikely, but you just never know, especially with the rain at the start. We'll have to wait and see how it all pans out. Remember, if you're just coming in here, it's going to be full wet at the start of this race, then to inters, then to dries. So I hope you've got your popcorn ready, because we'll be here for a while. It pretty much will be a feature-length stream, this one. Because this race is already pretty long as it is. You know, 30 laps around here is a long time. Especially when you've got changeable conditions, it could be quite the chaotic race. And Praga will want to be as high up the grid as possible when the lights go out. All's looking okay though so far on the lap. He's keeping it nice and tidy, hitting the apexes, doing all he needs to do. Short shifting quite a lot, but it's helping with his traction a bit. And as he heads to the end of sector 2, he is on a 1 minute 3.3. That might get him into the top 3. Could even get second place. It's very close to the second and third. So we'll see if he starts now. I don't think he'll go first, but we'll wait and see. Maybe I'm completely wrong and he'll have a brilliant last sector. Maybe I just wasn't looking at the sector times properly. He might possibly run out of ERS as well. In fact, he almost certainly will. On board, hits the wall, but he can still carry the speed of it. As long as he hits the apex in here, he should be alright. A tad wide though, that's just how much it costs you, and he goes to P6. Skiban, P2. And I have to go all the way down to go all the way back up to watch Tom, who's currently only 2/10 up so far, and has that not been the cleanest lap then from the Mercedes driver. As he passes by Praga's broken front wing and cuts the final corner slightly. Will he get away with that? Yes, he does. He's allowed to do that then. Nick is up by nearly 2/10. Good lap so far for the second Mercedes out there. Adam Sharp thought it was full. He could have joined in. Well, that's a shame. Didn't Dylan Warren says he hit the wall. Great debut so far. But the good news is, the only way's up now from P16 on the grid, so keep the spirits up, and maybe we'll see you have a good one today. But so far, next on for an okay lap. We'll see if he can improve on it, but he's going to back off actually. He's going to just park it in the pits. He may just be looking at the time and thinking if he finishes this lap, he might not have time to do another one. He might just want to get the track when it's his best, because there's 5 minutes here and it'll take a long time to get in and out if you finish that lap you're currently on, which Abby might end up doing. Let's see. Just sort of depends what his times are, I guess. At the moment he is P13 in the McLaren, still with no valid time on the board after his excursion into the wall. And there is a Ferrari. Praga has done what Alexander Albon did, and that has put him out of qualifying. And it's obviously what Maxi Luca did as well, but I now class that as the Alexander Albon wall. Sorry, Alex. And here's a little thing that might annoy people. No third well, it's actually technically classed as the second DRS zone, but there's no second DRS zone on that little straight there, because it was only announced on like Thursday they're adding it, so Cody's haven't had a chance to put it in yet. But look at this. Oshin just waited way too long there to get out of the way. I think Abby will not be particularly pleased by the Irishman's driving there. You saw how much it made him slide at the start of the final sector. It will affect his lap time. Will he just bail and go into the pit lane? He won't. He will finish the lap. He must feel he's got enough grip, but surely he might end up regretting that. P7, definitely more time on the board. We'll have to wait and see if we can find it. Will is up by nearly 7/10 of a second. He needs to find about 4 more though to go to P1. So let's see what he can do. Red Bull in real life here, pretty handy in this final sector. We'll see if it's something that corresponds well in the game as well. Red Bull regularly the fastest cars through here in real F1. It's looking pretty tight so far. Will doing well to avoid the walls, and let's see how much he attacks the final 2 corners as he goes to P1. Will get up there? We're saying it, but he does. Will goes up to P1 by under 1/10 of a second. He found the 4/10 needed in that last sector. Let's see how his teammate gets on. Ollie, looking a bit more slidey already from what we're seeing. He's actually low on ERS as well. I wonder if he's going to back off on this one. Let's watch the Lormans instead, because he's heading to the end of his lap. He's going to box as well. That will be touch and go whether he'll get another lap in, but we'll wait and see. He's speeding into the pit lane. He knows he's in a bit of trouble here. Let's see if Ollie's going to pit as well. He will. He'll pit. Skivan is on to his out lap. We've got yellows in sector 2. Don't really know what that is. I know what sector 2 is, but is Will pushing again for another lap? Of course, you don't have to just do 1 lap on this tire. It's, you can do as many as you like, honestly, because you'll be starting on the full wets anyway, or intermediates, one or the other. But it looks to me actually as if Will is going to go for a 2nd lap here. He's up by nearly half a second. But will he have enough fuel and ERS to get into the line? That's the big question. Even if he doesn't, he might just have enough in the bag here to whip a lovely lap together and take pole as Ollie retires from the session. Will, I think, is backing off a bit. Let's listen to the car. I think he might be backing off. I think he might have run out of energy. Or fuel or something. Maybe he was on low fuel save. Green yellow seat sounds even worse. Well, let's watch Skivan heading around the final corner to start his lap. He's currently P4, nearly 7/10 off pole. We know Will had half a second on the table. What about these guys? Will they be able to make that same time that Will managed to find? It seems the track is really performing at its best right now as Will retires to watch the rest of the action from the sidelines and hope that his P1 stays. As Skivan comes down Raffles Boulevard, let's see how much he's up by. It's not by much, but it is up. And it's something he can build on for the rest of the lap, but he does need to pick up a little bit more pace. He has to find over 3/10 of a second to get himself up into the top 3. Jack has now started his lap as well, as is that laggy person. Expect more to start the laps as we go on. Everyone here will be starting on their final laps. I don't see Skivan doing a 2nd lap after this one. Even if he has enough ERS for it, he might just be happy with what he's got. But let's see, surely everyone else will be on their final laps. And actually saying that, Skiba might... he might get another lap if he wants it. And he might well want it, because he's now down on his time. He's going to go on to no ERS here. I want to keep watching though. Let's see if he can actually start another lap. He's cutting a few corners, cutting at some chicanes. I think he will be starting another lap. So let's instead cut to who was next across the line. It was Jack, wasn't it? He's up by nearly enough to put him on pole already. Let's see if he can keep this one up. We know Will found extraordinary time by the looks of it in the middle sector, so let's see if Jack can do the same thing. He can't quite, but he just needs to find 2/1000 of a second more, and he'll be on pole. Skivan didn't quite make it. He was close, but he didn't quite get there. P4 for him. But Jack is now on a charge, looking to get himself up into pole position. Of course, there's many more to come after him, and Will was just sitting on the sidelines. He'll be hoping that Jack makes a mistake, hoping that everyone else makes a mistake. He sees those yellow flags in the middle sector, hopes it's for someone who's a rival to him for pole. But as we watch Jack through the final corner, is he up by enough to go on to pole? Yes, he is. But let's see about the competition. Tom is up by 0.3 of a second. He's going to be close as well to pole position. What about Nick? He's up by 0.4. He's on for pole as well. That laggy person goes up to P4. The two Mercedes boys looking very strong here at the end of qualifying. And remember, it's a wet start here. Track position could be more key than ever before here at Singapore. And it's Nick about to come round the final corner and take pole here. Let's see what he does. Does he keep it on the track? He does, but he doesn't quite get pole. What about Tom? He needs to find about half a tenth in this last sector, and he could take that pole, but he doesn't. I think it was invalidated for him as well. Sophie on a lap as well, down by a little bit. Lorman's, I think, is just behind, so we'll watch Sophie first. Round the final corner, she comes in the Haas, still sponsored by Rich Energy in this game. Someone else had to add it, as she goes to P7, and Lorman's, I think, might have actually taken that P7. That would be Sylvie down in PA, and indeed he did. Very entertaining qualifying session, that. Really enjoyed that. And we'll see what that means for the race. Because, like I say, we'll have to wait and see if it's... will the weather help? Are people doing overly massive setups for wet or for dry? We'll have to wait and see. Ollie and AM, I guess, they had issues on their laps. They only got onto the mediums, and a few had issues themselves. But let's quickly look at the grid. Well, I can't do it now. I'll look at it on the grid. But like I say, we'll have to wait and see. What setups have these guys got? Are we going to have some on the wet setup? Are we going to have some on the dry setup? It's going to be about a half wet, half dry race, I think, this one. 31 laps, I believe, and as you can see, it is tipping it down with rain right now, and this is a race that I absolutely cannot wait for. As you can see in Tom's garage, there are the full wet tyres, the blue mark tyres, the closest thing we get to those ice blue beauties that they had at Silverstone last year, and this year for F2. Oh well, the F2 2018, I mean, on this game. So yeah, close we're going to get to the ice blue, so you know I'm going to milk the hell out of it. But yeah, full wet to enter to dry. Let's wait and see how this all goes. Look at the spray there as Jack really loses the back end just as he gets off the line there, and Tom will be looking at that with glee, I reckon, seeing that in front of him. He's actually passed Will as well, so that's a pretty good rehearsal for him there. He'll be looking to do that on the real start. No real point looking at the tires because, as you can see, we're on the full wets, so let's just keep it on position change, shall we, as Jack comes back through the field to get himself on that pole position. So go through the grid then. It is Jack on pole from Will in P2. Tom is third with Nick fourth. That laggy person lines up in fifth with Skivan sixth. Lormans is seventh. Sophie eighth with Oshin ninth. And Abby rounding out the top 10 on the grid. Praga is 11th from Ollie in 12th. AM in 13th and Greeny LSC 14th. And then the two guys that hit the wall in qualifying, well, early on anyway, Maxi Luca and Warren. I must say, I've been looking forward to a wet race under the lights for this whole game. Doesn't it look beautiful? It's amazing. It's a real spectacle. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing how these guys get around here, especially at a full racing speed. It's going to be very good to see. We've got a few people in here, by the way, in the chat. I haven't really been looking too much at it, but we've got Flying From, we've got KRR, we've got Skivon in there saying he left the session at reset his setup, which might not be very good for the wet. And we've also got Mark, Gabe Alamondo. Welcome, everybody. And to the others of you 8s, unfortunately it is only 8, I don't know why that is. But, the 8 of you are in for a treat. Warren says that there's going to be light rain in 5 minutes, according to his Jeff. So, as I say, it's going to be a race where we will end up in the dry by the end. So, it's certainly not going to be too long on these wet tyres. Will anyone take the risk maybe on lap 1, if there's any damage or whatever, to actually pit for inters? I'll be interested to see what they do. It's certainly at the moment, though, it's heavy rain. Although it is looking like it could be starting to dry out a bit. Look at it, I think it's just transitioned to light rain, honestly. I don't think you're allowed to pit on your formation lap, so unfortunately we won't get any Marcus Winkelhock ideas, but we might see, as Lorman spins on the formation lap, we might see someone pit at the end of lap 1, but then it's heavier rain at the last corner, so the rain seems to be different in certain parts of the track, and that's going to make it very difficult for these guys as Lorman's just rounds the final corner now, getting ready to start this race. It really might well be the survival of the fittest here, because it's going to be an absolutely mental race, I reckon. It is the Singapore Grand Prix. It is wet. It is under the lights. It's the most difficult condition these guys are going to face all season long, and it's about to get underway when the 5 lights go out. We are away. Decent reaction time there from Will. Let's see if we can have a go into turn 1. Tom as well with a good start. This could be free wide before you know, and it is. Who gets the advantage? Tom gets a bit tagged there. Will into the lead, but he's had a big slide himself. Cutting turn 1 is Jack and Tom. Will they keep those positions? We'll have to wait and see if the game lets them. There's a car in the wall. I think it might be Oshin. It is. Did he get any damage? If he did, will he take the intermediates? He hasn't got any damage, but he has fallen right down the field. And look at the spray. It certainly will be intermediates just yet, will it? Tom side by side with Will. And getting through is the Red Bull driver. I feel that was a little bit easier considering what happened in turn 1 there. And Abby and Skeeve on fight. Abby's made up 3 places already, the biggest skater in that top 10 so far. And there's a spin for Praggett. Did he collect anyone? I don't think he did. But as you can see, already people struggling in the early stages of this race. Only lap 1, and it's only going to get more difficult when we get to the crossover point. A wet crossover point is much more difficult than a dry one, and Jack there had a huge slide. It's like I say, it's more difficult when I think it's a wet to inter situation more than an inter to dry situation, in my personal experience. From watching league racing and being in league races. So I'll be very interested to see how these guys all handle that, because we will be heading towards that transition zone in the not too distant future. But surprisingly, out of all that, the top 5 actually kept their position the same. The rest though changed all the way and are still changing. It looks like Maxi Luke is under a bit of pressure, trying to get by as well on AM. Those two having a good ding-dong battle, and it's very difficult to outbreak each other in these conditions because it's just so easy to slide off, and it's all about taking the advantage when it's there, as Greeny LC is trying to prove. On the inside into the tunnel, this could be in the wall very quickly, and he's just about tapping it with his rear right tyre as Maxi Luca. That should be okay though, shouldn't cause any real damage. But round the outside, Greeny's going to try and stick it in there, but there's no room. He does though get the move done, but he had to let that one through surely. Anyone pitting at the end of lap 1? No. It looks like Maxi really has lost a lot of time. I thought it was a spin on the straight there nearly. I think one or two actually nearly did it, but no one's hit the wall. We've all come through the first lap relatively unscathed. There's a few cars that are damaged, but nothing too serious. But it looks like Jack's had a real struggle. Jack's had a really poor exit, and here comes Will for the lead of this race as his teammate round as well. Laggy person, disaster for Alfa Romeo at turn 5 as Will takes the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix in the pouring rain. What about Tom? Will he get through? Praga's crashed out of this race as well by the looks of it as Jack outbreaks himself. Does he make the corner? Yes. Virtual safety car is deployed. And let's see. There's 2 cars there, Lormans and Praga, both in the wall there, and that laggy person spun round and all that. Could he have been the one that triggered all that possibly? We'll wait and see what they say later on, but that was a mental start to this race. Chaos from the off, but it's Will who leads the race. So we're waiting to go green now. There we go. A very short virtual safety car, as they tend to be around this game. And a really big slide again for Jack as he tries to get the power down quickly. Will that put him under any pressure from Tom? I don't think Tom was really expecting it to go green there as well. He was on the entry to the hairpin, maybe not the best place for it. As Lormans is out of the race as well. Has he just creamed it into the wall? We'll have to wait and find out once again what he says later on if he ends up in the chat. But yeah, Will, crucial that he got that move done early because it looked like Jack really was struggling there. And heavy rain is still sort of coming down. It's hard to tell if it's light or not yet, but it certainly feels like a sort of a crossover point coming soon. I don't think anyone's going to be pitting now. I don't think that's really any surprise to anyone at the moment. Oh, that's a big slide for Nick. That last corner has been a real nightmare for these guys already today. As we watch some more come through, they're all sliding through there, and it's a wonder no one's hit the wall yet. Saying that though, I think someone might just have hit the wall. That laggy person's out of this race. I mean, I've got a pit stop for Skivan. Let's have a look at what tower he goes on to. It is the intermediate. He will be the first one to go on it. He's sort of got nothing to lose at that front line change. Let's see how he goes on the tires. It looks like Abby's on the back of Sophie, who's really struggling there in the Haas. And it looks like Tom as well, trying to get round the outside of Jack. That's a bit of an ambitious move. And he's not going to make that one work there, surely. He will still give it a go. I think there's been a crash as well. Has there been an accident? I think we've been alright. Everyone's been okay. Abby's got Sophie, but I think everyone's alive still. And looks like Tom is still trying to get by Jack here. It's a bit of a difficult move to make, but he's giving it a go anyway. Skivan out of the pits on inters. I think we need to go to tyres now, because when more people start pitting, it'll be interesting to see what tyres they actually go on to. Let's see what he's like on board. Listen to the car as well on the power. That'll be a real telltale sign here. That sounds alright to me. That sounds like he's got enough grip to keep going with that. We'll see if those entries are good enough. All this fighting, by the way, to let Will get 2.5 seconds clear. This will help him because it means when we get to the crossover point fully, he's got a bit more freedom with it. He can react to what everyone else is doing. He's got the time to be able to afford that. As you see more yellow flags, possibly for Warren in the wall. I can't see there's any front wing damage, but I suspect there is. Yeah, big front wing damage on the left hand side. And that'll be him in trouble. Skiman, of course, will be catching, so it's hardly a very good indication. But the rain, look how light it is now. As Tom pits, Nick, of course, will be able to do that now. But Will, 3.2 seconds clear. He is now able to take advantage of this. He will just see Tom in the pit and say, okay, right, I'll pit this lap then. And it'll be fine. He shouldn't lose that much time. Sophie is up to P4 because a few more pitters. We've now got Abby in the pits as well. And Oshin, Maxi Luca as well, and probably Warren too. About half the field then. I'm going to be on the intermediates, and it's only lap 4. Nobody's really getting held up in there. Looked like it was nice and clean. Although, look at this, down Raffles Boulevard, we're side by side, and in the dry that's not too impressive, but in the wet that's so difficult to do, especially when we're fully on crossover. And that looked like Greeny LFC on the inside, and he made it work on the outside of turn 8. Can he complete the move, or will it be a Russell Grosjean? Oh, he's hit the wall on the exit, has Greeny LFC, and that threw him straight into the side of the Ferrari. I don't think there's any damage done, but certainly a surprise for both involved, I would have thought. It's certainly a surprise for me watching it. And does Ollie fancying a look on the inside? He might well go for it. So we've got some yellow flags in front of one of the leaders. I think it might have been for Nick. I think Nick's had a collision possibly with Jack. As he went for it into the hairpin. And it certainly looks like he might have done. He's lost a lot of time there, and that'll be Tom guaranteed ahead of him at least. And he's got 13 seconds of clean air ahead of him. His tyres are probably better up to temperature now. And yes, the game is showing full wets in his car, but as you can see, always believe the green graphic, as it says on the side of the screen, on the ladder, and in the top right corner. He is on intermediates. So do believe the graphic, please. So, Will, 5.2 seconds clear at the moment. The free air really helping him at the moment. And yeah, the pressure that Nick was putting on Jack as well helped too. So, all Will really needs is a clean stop here, and he should be able to get back out in the lead of this race. I think the whole field should be pitting now as well. I think there's no teammates apart from Will and Ollie, but that shouldn't really be an issue. Will anyone stay? I think there is. Ollie stayed out actually. I don't really think he needed to do that, but okay, we'll see if it works out for him. Nick as well. Possibly a gamble. We'll see if it works out for them. Here's Tom. Where's he going to be? There is a car of Jack, I think. No, that's Will, sorry. Coming out of the pit. So he's jumped Jack by some way as Tom. And he's caught right up to Will. He's caught by about a second or two there. So, yeah, looks like maybe Jack was slowed down a bit by the collision. Soon the collision with Nick. But yeah, Tom on the better, sort of warmer tyres now. Let's see if he can catch up to the rear end of that Red Bull. Looks like Sophie's lost out a bit here as well. Green LC2 is now 6 seconds off the pace. He's really fallen off that fight. Let's see how Nick is going. He's set it as fast as first sector, but not by really that much. We'll compare. Oh! Ollie's going to spin. Now, is he going to ghost? He's going to reset, but will it ghost? Because here comes his teammate, Will. And this could hold them right up. And this will help Nick. Unless Ollie just gets out of the way. I'm sure he'll get that penalty removed. He's just moving out of the way for common courtesy, I think. The best thing to do when he's struggling. But Nick is pulling away a bit, but I just don't think he's enough to take advantage. If he didn't have the incident earlier, maybe this would be a great strategy for him, but at the moment I don't think he's going to be able to gain off of this. Tom right on the back of Ollie, can't get quite past, and Tom will not be happy to see Ollie just dancing out of the way of Will, so he's just going to dance around the outside of him. Nice move there by Tom, showing the advantage that those intermediates have got over the wet tyres. Only 4 laps old, those wets. It shows how dry the track is getting already. As onto the intermediates comes Nick. Yeah, let's see where he comes out. Ollie will be pitting as well. He'll be falling way down the field after that half spin. And Tom sets the fastest lap of the race, but as you can see, Will is starting to pull away. He really seems hooked up in these conditions. I'm not quite sure what the championship gap, but surely Will's on to take the championship lead at some point soon. I said he's championship favourite. He could still end up winning this thing still. And looks like Greeny's going to get Ollie, so he might well be out of the points to the Red Bull driver. And as you can see, he hasn't come out of the pits yet. Warren might get him as well, so Ollie I think's down to last place. He is indeed. But Will is he's on rails, isn't he, at the moment? It's the best way to say it. He's on to lap 6. Taking us a long time to get here. I mean, let's have a look at our fastest laps. Must be what, 2 minutes probably, maybe late 150s. Late 150s for some of them, 2 minutes for others. So it's taking a long time to get this far, but hopefully we will in the 150s now. And yeah, we'll see if we're going to get any fights soon, because unfortunately the field isn't particularly close. We've got a couple of close fights out there. We've got Abby trying to get past AM. I'm sure it's a better way of saying AM's name, but I'm just going to say AM. So, deal with it. Am I bothered? Nah. Oh, but Abby's a bit bothered. That was nearly off the track, into the wall and out of the race, but he's saved it. He does seem to have a rather dancey rear end today, doesn't he? It's the best sort of way I can describe it. It's having a little tango in the back there with its fellow tyre, the 2 rears, and it's causing Abby a bit of a struggle here today, but luckily he hasn't actually hit anything during the race as far as I can tell. Well, yeah, well, he did lose his front wing at one point, a little bit of it, but that might have just been from another car. You know, you can't assume any of these things. Tom gets a penalty, but he might well set the fast lap anyway. I think he'll still count if he does. Will 1 minute 56, I think that was, but Tom in a 1 minute 55s. The times are tumbling. How soon will we be on to the dry compound tyres now? And if so, if it dries quickly, will it be a one stop to the end? Say we're dry by lap 10, will they be able to get hard to the end? I guess they would. Sophie now holding on to the back of Abby, since Abby's been held up by the Ferrari ahead. I think Maxi Luke has just got past Greeny LFC. Good move, it seems, for him there into turn 3. It'd be very impressive. That's how he got through. If it was a fair move, of course. Looks like a good step soon now for Greeny down Raffles Boulevard and into turn 7. There's no way through yet, and even though he's been overtaken, he's still a second up on his best lap so far in the first sector. Shows how quickly the track's improving. This time 5 minutes ago it was still tipping it down really for these guys. And it's a lot like 2017 Singapore, but the track has dried so goddamn quickly. Sorry, I needed a drink. I was dying there. I did scream a little bit in the early stages, if you didn't notice. My passion for this is very high. Here comes Greeny. That's never going to work with the traction he's got there. But he gave it a nice look. What about ERS levels? I think Tom's got much better ERS usage than Will, but let me check the warnings for Mr. Murdoch. He's got no warnings and Tom's got a penalty. So, advantage Will. He's got track position, he's also got no penalties. He's also now got the fastest lap. And now Tom has the fastest lap. 0.2 of a second quicker that time round. Lewis Milliman in the chat there saying, like driving on ice with his setup. I guess that's why he spun off and died. And, yeah. Well, one or other, there's two Lewis in. I can't really remember which one's which. Maxi Lucas has a fast lap. We've got two Lewis to talk about how difficult it is to drive in the rain here. Okay, simple as. I really should know. I'm bad about that. Sorry, I should know. Warren into the pit lane again. Is that for a new front wing, I wonder? Everything not quite going to plan for Williams today. I'd be surprised that's dry tyres. It is dry tyres. It's still raining. Greeny's out of the race, by the way. Is he the next turn 5 victim? He is indeed. So, Warren. Ballsy is one way to describe this. Has Jeff told Warren that the rain is stopping imminently, in which case it might work for him? See, I can't take the piss at this time because I did pretty much the reverse of this in ILR yesterday, hoping that the rain wouldn't get heavy enough to go to inters, and then it was just too late. Abbey as well. Double disaster then for the McLaren team. They both go out in the space of a minute. And has Abbey finally gone and lost it at turn 11 and 12? We saw him nearly lose it here before, and he has lost it at turn 11. So both McLarens out of the race, and Warren would be lucky to stay in this one with the tyres he's got. Let's ride on board with the Williams, given the coverage he probably doesn't really want right now, but he's doing the ballsy strategy. You've gotta follow him. And I'm just judging by this that the rain must be about to stop. The rain must be about to stop. But it's probably way too early to go on the tyres. But you know what? I admire his optimism. But it's still raining. Guess he sort of had nothing to lose here. But, you know, he's just one more time away from points, I guess. But yeah, he's 32 seconds off his best lap, and he's just gone and completely missed that corner there. Turn 14, I think that is. He's also tapped the wall. He's driving backwards. The game doesn't like him doing that, but he's okay. Oh, he's not okay anymore. He's just hit the wall. and the gamble hasn't really worked. Where's Will? Because we're riding on board a Red Bull driver, and if Warren doesn't get moving and back in that pit lane in a moment, he might get lapped. Yellow's sector 3, and that's for him just driving so slowly, unfortunately, and Warren does retire, and it's brought a safety car out. So Warren's driving there. I don't know what the guys are going to think about that, but it's brought a safety car out then. So we're down to 10. Everyone can get back into. So after all these errors earlier, he's right back in it. And Warren has went and, well, changed the complexion of this whole race. If it stops raining now, well, that'll be the dream for these guys, I guess. They'll want it to stop raining right now, pretty much. Disaster for them is if it goes green and it stops raining at the same time. That's pretty much the disaster zone for them. But we'll have to wait and see. The whole field are now going to bunch up. Is anyone going to pit under safety car and just hope the rain will stop and be on the dry tires when it's time? Anyone going to pit? It's maybe a bit ambitious, so I'll give it that. But someone might try it. Still is raining, of course. So it doesn't really help the situation. But yeah, I don't think anyone's gonna pit. But someone might. Maxi Luca will. Is it for dries? What about Ollie? Will he be pitting as well? He will be pitting. I think it's worth the risk. Unless it's for more intermediates. It's for more intermediates. So that tells me that Ray might be keeping on going. Don't really know what to expect at the minute. Ollie with a 5-second penalty, but you know what? He'll take that. He's into the chat already saying, heck yeah. We'll censor that for y'all. And we've got some dramas behind the safety car. Tom and Jack swapping places. Last thing we need is stuff like that going all haywire and all wrong and all chaotic and stuff. Crashes happen way too often under the flipping safety car in this game. It's not even funny. So it's only lap 10 in this race. You're lucky you don't have a timer for this thing, because we're going to be here probably for another hour at this rate. The race started about 20 minutes ago. So this race, it will be one of the longest races surely in PSGL history, not including any races with restarts. I'm sure Connor's got his stopwatch on, eagerly waiting to see how long this one is. Mark down the chat. F1 will be finished before this one at this rate. I think I'll agree with you on that one. Like I say, it's certainly on course to break some records. This one, it must be one of the slowest races I've ever seen in my entire life. It's been pretty good though so far. So once we go green again, it could be a mad dash, especially if the rain stops at the right moment. So the safety car will be standing for at least one more lap. As Will pits, he's gonna just try and catch Tom out there, and he nearly hit Tom as well. That is something that Tom might question from Will there, because it's a bit dodgy, and he's very lucky he doesn't cause any damage. The mind games are really in play. Mark is saying he did a 2-hour stream on this race in season 21, but was there any restarts? Was it like any issues, or was it just flat out racing for 2 hours? I don't know, because this isn't gonna have any restarts or anything. This went live 40 minutes ago, I think, and we're only on lap 11. So, I'm certainly interested to see if this will be the longest one ever. Although saying that, I think F3 had rain. I think F5 had rain, if I can recall. So the rain really loved to come down on this race. Honestly, it's a weird one. It is still raining, by the way. We're waiting for the safety car to go in, first of all, and then for the rain to stop. And what would be a really nasty situation is this spitting rain stops just as the safety car goes in, because it will give these guys the most unbelievable headache for the next couple of laps, and it will make the restart absolutely electric for us. Yeah, see, there was a restart in yours, Mark. Like I say, mine's like It's too late for a restart. We've got 10 people left. At this rate, we'll have a Monaco 96. Maybe this race will just end early because it'll be lap 20. There'll be one car left. We'll just have to go home. I don't know. But this one certainly might be on to break some records here. So, like I say, Connor, get your stopwatch on, or just look at the video time at the end of the video. One over. Unfortunately for Sophie, it is still raining, isn't it? She can go to the end on these tyres if the rain does stop in her favour. And if it stops now, if the rain stops now, and the safety car goes in on this lap, Sophie might be alright. If the rain stops now, and the safety car doesn't come in, I don't know. Let's see. Will the safety car come in on this lap? I don't know if it will or not. It's certainly a bit late if it will. I don't think it is come in. So safety car 8. Okay, it's a late call. Safety car will be in this lap. It's still raining. Keep an eye on Sophie though. If it does stop raining in the next few moments, she could take advantage. But Will has not got much time to prepare a restart here. Look out for the rain stopping. Look out for anyone pitting in the next couple of laps. And look out for general PSGL F2 chaos. As Will gets on the throttle, Nick into the pit lane. But we are green again. And that's a huge slide. And into the wall goes Jack. I think he actually saved it, you know. I think he actually saved it. I was just assuming he's going to... Well, I think he actually saved it. Wow. I just said he damaged in his car. He may have lost the position to Ski Van, but flip me. Dry tyres for Nick and AM. Still spitting with rain though. But Sophie's making a move here on the inside of Maxi Luca. And she's got some grip, hasn't she? Is this strategy working out for Sophie right now? Because if it does work out, she's going to be miles out in front. Could this be a masterclass in the making? I think there's been contact. I think Jack might have got a bit too deep in the brakes or something. But Sophie seems to have some incredible grip on these tyres. As Maxi Luca hits the wall, he's broke his front wing. But yeah, certainly keep an eye on Sophie right now. Look at the grip she's got. The rain has stopped and it seems like it's dried up instantly. Sophie is on for a win here if she just keeps it on the track. She's going to be clear by about 25 seconds at this rate. A pit stop here takes forever because the pit lane is just so slow. And the track, you wouldn't think it was wet this time 20 minutes ago. Did she just hit the wall? Or did she just miss a braking point? I think she's just setting a move actually on Oshin, who's defending for his life. But he might just go straight on him if he's not careful. Sophie, just be patient. You've got this. You've got this. This really could work out so well right now. Round the outside, she's not going to get there. Into the tunnel, just be patient, be patient, be patient. She's got this win in her hands right now. Will has to do some gargantuan effort now to win this race. He will pit at the end of his lap. I just want to say, this is a nightmare situation. This feels a bit like Germany 2019, really, isn't it? Sophie's done the Lance Stroll. She's done the Daniel Kvyat. And she leads in PSGL F2 as we enter lap 13. And she can go to the end of these tyres, possibly. Is she on for the victory today? Anyone getting held up? I think Will's been held up a bit. Ollie as well, of course. Tom as well. I think they're all being held up a tad. I think Skivan might well really take some advantage of this. He's ahead of Tom. And obviously Nick as well in second. AM after third. So Will be fourth coming out of the pit. Skivan fifth. Tom sixth. Jack seventh. Oshin eighth. Max Luca ninth. And way behind that is Ollie in last. But 11 seconds is the gap. At the front is Sophie leading the race. And yeah, 25 seconds to Will. So, and Flying From says, she's never won a race. It'd be quite funny if her first came in F2. And, well, what a story that would be. First race here, I think as a guest driver, I believe. I think we're introducing guest drivers to help numbers, I think. Sounds a bit sad, actually, doesn't it? But, still. Oh no, Louis Delatraz is on Twitch. I want to watch Louis Delatraz. Can I watch both? Oh dear. Looks like Tom and Skivan are fighting into turn 10. Tom gets the move done. But yeah, let's see. Will mediums get to the end in this race? Debatable, but we'll have to wait and see. If they do, will Nick be able to catch up to Sophie? It's such a long race. I'll tell you this again. F1 is going live right now. We've had no restart or anything. It's just been that long of a race. Sophie sets the fastest lap by 13 seconds and is about to get absolutely smashed here by Nick as well. Right in the final corner. 1 minute 40.9. What about AM? Any bettering of the time? It'll keep going down this, by the way. The gap will just... The time will just fly down now. Yeah, 3/10 up in sector 1, but Nick is flying at the moment. This is going to be a very interesting fight for the win still, as Skivan starts falling for the field, but he's on the hard. He's going for longevity. He's going to get to the end of the race on those tires, probably without a doubt. So while he's falling now, look out later. That's all I can really say. Sophie is going to fall under the 8 seconds, I think, in a moment, as F1 goes live. I'm sorry to whoever's doing F1, but I'm going to have to get everyone to come over. Sorry, F1 streamer, but I'm gonna have to steal your viewers. Hope you don't mind that, because Nick is catching, and it's going to be very interesting to see if she can get past, or if he can get past Sophie. Two out of the top 3 aren't even F2 drivers. I'm just seeing that being said in the chat there. Well, I mean, what do you expect? It's a wet race. Anything can happen here, and it still can. AM gets a penalty. Tom sets fastest lap. Of course, Tom's got a penalty, I believe. I don't think others do. I think AM and Tom are the only two I can recall with penalties at the moment. Gap now under 8 seconds. Nick really is piling some pressure on, and he is the only permanent F2 driver in this top 3. Sophie and AM aren't really meant to be here, and so they've got a real point to prove. Can they, you know, do it the big time on their debuts? Both going to stick it on the podium, and Sophie stick it on the top step with an absolutely fantastic strategy call. And you know, she came from, I think, 9th on the grid, or sorry, 8th from the grid. AM came from 13th, and it's exactly what Lance Stroll and Daniel Kvyat did in Germany this year. They just chose it. They just chose to stick to it at the right time. And unlike Germany, it's very difficult to overtake here, and it's going to be a very tough fight regardless of whether Nick catches up or not. Because if he does catch, where does he actually overtake? And I mean, the gap's flying down. What about the gap to Will? The gap's closed by 5 seconds. Do you know what, guys? This gap might well close again between this top 6. It seems unlikely, you could argue, but you know what? It's looking like it's going to close right up. Sophie, like I say, going for longevity, same as AM. They could benefit later on, but for now, it's the medium runners who are the ones on the attack. Leckel with his support there for Sophie. Dylan Warren having some fun in the chat, enjoying what he's watching. If they win or get it on the podium, then they move up. Probably. Mark is deploying dual screens. Love to see it. And flying from, unfortunately, can't do that. But it's only qualifying in F1. No one wants to watch qualifying. It's boring. Although, actually, saying that, qualifying was quite fascinating here earlier, but still. The race is way more fascinating here because the gap's about to fall below 5 seconds at the end of this lap. Likely Skiban gets a penalty. Let's just quickly check that top 2 just to see. Nick has a warning. Sophie has 2 warnings. Penalties could play a part. I really hope it doesn't, though. I really hope penalties just stay out of it on this one. Jack gets a penalty. He's on the back of Tom. He's on the back of Will. These guys are still fighting, by the way. I don't really think it's worth the fight. Maybe that's why they aren't fighting too hard, but yeah. it could be fun at the end, especially if Will gets a penalty as well, and then they'd be fighting genuine position. What is their gap to Sophie? It's close by another second and a bit, and Nick has got that gap under 5 seconds. It was like 13 seconds just 5 laps ago. Nick is absolutely on a mission. He's got loads of ERS as well compared to Sophie, and he can now see the Haas driver in his sights there into turn 1 on the straight, and probably down Raffles Boulevard as well. Wait and see. There's the Haas. Maybe not actually down Raffles Boulevard. We'll wait and see. Oh yeah, you can see it. Oh, you can see it. It's getting closer. The gap's under 4 seconds nearly. And yellows. Is it for Ollie? It is for Ollie. I think he's spun and reset. Oh dear. Ossian, I think, hit the wall. New front wing for the Renault. Tom can't get by Will on DRS, and Will's now catching up to AM. And these guys are really starting to get bunched up. Look at the gaps now. Will's got this down to nearly under 70. This is... Look, I can't understate this, because like, this is going to be bloody close, people. I can't call who's going to win this one in the top 5. All I know is that Will, if he doesn't get any penalties, could still be in a rather handy position here if he can get by AM. But Nick has closed nearly 2 seconds on this lap. It's absolutely tumbling the gap right now. Sophie just hasn't got the pace. But I say again, it could still all change around at the very end when we see them end up on the the wearing side of these medians. But the gap, 2.4 seconds, and Nick is going to have a chance possibly on the next lap. He's just set his fastest lap of the day, 1 minute 39.1, I believe it was. It's now very much a 4-way fight for the final podium spot at the moment. And these guys... Oh man, this is... I cannot predict how this is going to go. It's incredible to see the difference between the hards and the mediums right now. Could you... anyone maybe even consider seeing maybe Sophie pit for the softs or something? Would Nick pass Sophie and then pit for softs? I think maybe sort of the top 2 could try that. I'm seeing Dylan in there as a suggesting about sauce. I'd say either Sophie or Nick could pit for sauce, and there goes Will on the inside of AM. He's getting aggressive now. He's up to the 3rd place again. Here comes Tom. Here comes Jack. And now we're getting proper aggressive there. Tom could have went through the middle. He's just going to go for the exit instead though. Bit of contact with AMS. He really tries to defend for all of his might. As we see on the inside, Tom nearly hitting the wall. What a move. How brave was that? And AMS just had to sit back in awe and watch that as Max Luca retires from the race. Jack now wants to go on the outside and try and get a nice run on the exit. And he's gonna nearly pinch AMS into the wall and nearly hit the wall himself. But we're gonna go side by side down towards turn 14 and the start of the final sector. And through into P5 goes Jack, and it's AMS going from 3rd to 6th. In just 1 sector. Nick's fallen off the pace on this lap so far. He's going to be about 1.5 seconds down as fast as that. In fact, 2 seconds down almost. He is losing some pace now as Sophie starting to get those benefits of the longer lasting hard tyre. But what I was going to suggest earlier, could Nick or Sophie pit for some softs later on? Because they will almost certainly be able to fly past again. That's something that Sophie may fancy trying more than Nick, but we'll wait and see. Tom now has only got 1 more car to pass before he gets back on the podium. And it is his main rival in this race, you could argue, Will. And Will's going to have no DRS from the Ferrari ahead this lap, because there is no Ferrari ahead. It's all on him to defend this, and Tom's onto the overtake, he's onto the DRS, he's onto probably the rich fuel mix as well, and down towards turn 7. Tom just isn't close enough. Nick really has fallen off the pace. 1 extra lap of grip, that's all he needed to get up to the back. Maybe he will be the one who decides to pit for softs later on, if anyone does. It's an interesting call. It's a very interesting call. And as I say, Matsuka, by the way, did retire. I think I mentioned it anyway, but it was in the middle of the fighting, so in case you've missed it, Maxi Luca out of the race in the racing point, the only racing point in the field today, and he unfortunately is out. Right, let's calm down for a bit because it might get interesting again in a minute. Because if Tom and Will start fighting, Jack's going to be right on that. If Nick can just squeeze one extra lap of grip in these out of these mediums, he's going to be on for this win as well. Oh, so much going to happen. Will is still catching these guys. It may not be very quickly, but he's catching. And yeah, Jack in the DRS now at Tom, so it's going to be a three-way fight again at some point. Down to 9 cars, and boy, are they making it interesting. Lap 20 out of 21. We're only just now hitting the 2/3 stage of this race. We've already been live for an hour, so it may actually not break any records. I think it would have needed to be. I think it would have needed to be a full wet race the whole way with a few safety cars to break some records. But still, long race, and one that's certainly been worth waiting for because it's starting to get very interesting indeed. And Jack actually feels like he's got more of a chance of passing Tom now. I feel Tom might be about to fall out of DRS. In fact, he has. Are his mediums starting to go a bit as well? Are they going before Jack's? It's really interesting to see these mediums just not last. They must all be on 2 sides. They must be all onto the sauce at the end, surely. Because they're going now. How are they going to survive? Are they all going to pit for the sauce at the end? Is that possibly what's looking at happening? Would that mean maybe the guys 6th down would just say, you know what, screw it, I'm going to go to the end. They're all going to pit. I'm just going to stay out and hope for the best. It almost certainly won't work, but do you know what? The more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm seeing a chance at actually all of the top 5 pitting for sauce again, and that would put Sophie really in the box seat to win this one. I don't know. I just don't know what to expect here, people. Oh, Jackson hit the back of Tom. That's a really stupid accident, and then he's spun him around for good measure. Broken front wing for Jack. Really clumsy. Really clumsy. He'll be into the pits for that. Tom hadn't got any more damage on his car, but he did lose the position to AMS. And that was just some clumsy driving. But Nick is now in the DRS range. He's actually, what he might have been doing actually, he's been saving his ERS. Look at it, it's all the way up full. That could be what he's been doing. He now has the DRS and he's not using the ERS. He's certainly preparing himself as Tom. The tyres are gone, aren't they? That spin wouldn't have helped, of course, but he really looks like he could do with a trip into the pit lane at any moment. He's got 11 laps to go on the tyres. That won't get to the end, I don't think. But let's go back to the leading fight. I wouldn't really call it a fight, actually. It doesn't really feel like there's much fighting going on, does there? But it's a slow burner, isn't it? It just feels a bit like the real life race as well, as it's just sort of waiting for the action to happen, and it will come. But Nick, does he fancy a pit stop? Tom, I wonder if he'll be the first, because it's either Nick or Tom. I think he'll be the first into the pit lane here. I think they will pit again. Pit lane windows open, look, actually, for Nick. Then it's open for everyone, isn't it? But DRS again into turn 1. Let's see if Nick can make anything of it this time. He's got plenty of ERS to use, as I say. He's certainly able to pace himself. And, you know, make the move nice and fair and clean on Sophie. No pitters as of yet. I'm not seeing any. But here comes Nick. DRS down Raffles Boulevard. Into turn 7. Tom gets by Skivan. And Nick's having a look on Sophie. I think it's a bit late on the brakes though. Sophie defends it just by taking a corner. Normally she's not going to get too phased by this one. And Nick knows it. He's going to make sure when he makes this move, he makes it fair and clean. Back with Skivan. Tom had just passed him. Is Skivan going to find a way back through? No. The issue for Sophie here, by the way, is if Nick decides to pit again, Sophie would have to be the one who, you know, pulls her. Like, if Nick pits first, Sophie's in real trouble. Simple as. Because we're pitting on the sauce and Sophie will be done. Her race will be over. She wouldn't be winning the race. And you still got Will absolutely flying. What if Will pulls the trigger on this? What would happen then? Any one of these top three could still win the race right now. I think it is only Sophie, Nick and Will in this one now, thanks to the various incidents. Possibly AMS if he doesn't pit. But yeah, we'll wait and see how it all pans out. But Sophie now might well be starting to feel the pressure as Nick closes in. Took a better line, I feel, for that last corner to Nick. He's right on the back now. Into turn one, he's just going to put his nose in there, show Sophie he's there. Prepare to move for turn 7 maybe, or just down Raffles Boulevard, turn 6. 3-4 tenths, that's all the gap is. Is it a good exit for turn 5? It's a bit of a slide, but I think it should still be enough. And down through Raffles Boulevard towards turn 7. Here comes Nick to the inside line and into the lead. Will he get this one done? Sophie's going to fight back. She's late on the brakes, but eventually Nick does get through. Nick takes the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix. But what are these tyres going to do? They surely can't get to the end, I don't think. But can Sophie get to the end? I think she can. So it's all about whether Nick can try and get to the end. And if he does decide to pit, what's going to happen with his tyres? A new sauce he would be presumably putting on. Surely he'd fly off to the back. There's a lot can still happen. But now Sophie has a penalty and that could really ruin her day. Will is still flying as well, of course. If he decides to pull the trigger and pit, what could he do? Tom's back on the pace as well. And it's good to see that after his error, well, not error, his misfortune earlier. Let's see if he can get by AMS back into the top 5. I keep forgetting there's no DRS here, because in real F1, as I say, there is DRS there, but it was added in so late that Cody's haven't really had a chance to, you know, change it. I'm sure they'll change it at some point, as Ski Van taps like a ton there. So just 7 laps to go then in this race. It's been an entertaining one. Well, actually, is it 7 or is it 8? Hold on. Sorry, it's 8 laps to go. So I actually had to count on my fingers how many laps there was left. That's a bit sad, isn't it? Sorry, it's 7 to go. If you're going to pit for sauce, you're going to have to pit for them now, I think, in the next sort of 2 laps. Because they'll only go sort of 5-6 laps, won't they, anyway, the sauce. They're not really designed to go very far. It's the whole point of them. Oh! Tom's off. And all of his hard work to get back up is done. And a virtual safety car is deployed. Now, depending on how long this lasts, we could see a pitter or 2 for the softs. I guess Oshin would take it as a free pit stop. But he's not going to. He could have got a fastest lap point there, but I don't really know why he didn't do that. But yeah, Tom, Broom front wing, he will hope this virtual safety car that he caused will stay for a few laps, because he could do with it. But yeah, I think that's the 3rd version of the safety car we've seen today. What, 2 virtuals and 1 full safety car, but it's all about when we're going to go green. If we stay, you know, if we stay virtual for this whole last sector, someone might just take the risk and go on to some softs. Keep an eye on the panels and keep an eye on the top left to wait and see the virtual safety car sign turn off, because we don't really get a warning for ourselves on screen. It just sort of happens randomly and we're green again. Nick pulls away gingerly, doesn't want to have any issues, and he's still got that pit light on. Is he going to pit? He's going to stay out. Will Sophie pit? She is going to stay out. That needed another 30 seconds, I think, not for ESC, and they would have been both in the pits. So Tom then, look at the damage on his car. But it will give us a chance to see how a new set of softs would work. Pole number, I think, was in the 1:34s, and we're still about 5 seconds away from that. So Tom will pit for some softs, I would assume, and we'll see how he gets on. Will is now 5 seconds off Sophie. And with Tom's error, surely this is Will going to the World Championship lead if he wasn't there already. Will certainly stamping his authority down now. Only, I think, 4 or 5 more races to go this season. I'll need to check. I think it's only 4 though. After this. And with Will being championship for the whole time, it's taken him a while to get in the position to actually have the championship lead, but he's going to have it soon. As Tom actually goes into mediums. I guess didn't have another set of sauce available, so I guess we're not going to see how many set of sauce would work. But Skivan on the back of AMS. Still 7 to go, including the one we're on. Sophie, she just keeps it clean. She sort of needs to at this point because she's got the penalty. Will doesn't, as far as I'm aware. I think Nick doesn't either, does he? He's one warning away from it. Will he's also one warning away from it. But I just wonder if Nick's medium start to die, will Sophie have a chance to catch up? It feels like Will has protected his tyres the best today. And even though he might be a bit miffed at what happened in the safety car, and he might be kicking himself for not pitting when he could have, there's still a chance that he'll win this race. And you know what? With the pace he's had so far, he's only now 6.7 seconds off the lead here. Could Will pull off a masterclass? He's about to pass Sophie on penalties. And if Sophie can catch Nick in the next 6 laps, 6 laps is a huge amount of time on this track. I just don't feel the tyres will be able to survive long enough. I think Oshin's off. Oshin has made a mistake, I think. Broke the front line on the right hand side, look. So that might be what the yellow flag was for. Tom ahead. But yeah, this is closing right up now. Well, I think we'll just keep it a gap to leader right now. Oshin 5-second penalty with speeding. We'll need to compare lap times. I think at the end of this lap, I'll compare Nick and Will. Because I think Sophie should really be in a position to start thinking about catching up now. She should have tyres to do it. I don't think there's any point in pitting now. It's a bit too late. So it's all about who keeps their tyres the best in these next 5 laps. Lap 27 out of 31 is underway here at the Marina Bay Street Circuit here in Singapore. A race that, believe it or not, started in the rain, and ever since then has been quite a mess. A very fun mess though, where Sophie has impressed us all really in her first race in PSGL 2. She had the intelligent decision of pitting onto the safety car, onto hards, and she's reaping the benefits of it right now. She's up in P2, currently ahead on penalties of Will is trying to close in and be ahead on penalties. Only has to catch 1 second. But we'll wait and see how this all works. Nick, of course, will be hoping to keep his tyres now. Because 20 laps is a long time on these tyres. It's a big say. I don't think he'll get a puncture, but I think the tyres might just die very soon. Tom into 1 minute 37s there. He'll get as fast as that point for it. He'll get, I think, what, 2 points at the end of the day for that. I think it's still top 8 only to get points, isn't it? So, something like that anyway. I haven't really kept up to date with the point system. I still don't really have my head around it, unfortunately. I don't think Will has tyres anymore. I think Sophie has the tyres now. Sophie needs a bit of a masterclass here, and she might just get it. Might just get it. Virtual safety car again. Oshin's gone. Pitting? Anyone gonna pit? Anyone want to take the risk? 4th time we've seen a virtual or a proper safety car. 3rd virtual, 4th safety car event. And we're only down to 8 cars now. A race of attrition. Survival of the fittest, I think Ollie said, and I said as well. And, well, the fittest are currently Nick, Sophie, and Will. This will help Nick's tyres, of course. But boy, I wonder how much these guys wished it was a full safety car. But we go green again. And it's not happening in a great place, I don't think, for Nick. I think he's had a really poor start there. I think Sophie's going to be right on him. She's now, she's got the tires, but she doesn't have the ERS. Nick's got 100% ERS, while Sophie only has 57%. Still, 3.5 laps to go. That's ages around here. And looks like Jack's under a lot of pressure. We've got AMS and Ski Van here too. Tom's pitting, I guess, just to solidify fast lap with some softs. There he goes. Warren's left session. He's decided he's had enough of it. Oh, nearly a spin for Ski Van. And Jack pulling away a bit now. But it's all about Sophie right now. She needs to put Nick under some more pressure. Because if she can get herself in a position to sort of force Nick into one track extend, then it'll be a straight fight on track. Issue is though, Nick has now unleashed the power of that Mercedes ERS department and is going to fly off into the distance, I think, now. Who's got the most ERS out of this group? It's actually Jack that has it, so he should be okay. But still, you just never know with the power of DRS if AMS can get through. Remember, he is on hards that should be better at this stage than the mediums. We'll see what it's like when we get to Raffles Boulevard in turn 7, but I think Jack should be okay. Although, I don't know. I think AMS might still just have enough to get through. If he's got another 3-second penalty, then that's going to cost him. Jack, I think, tagged the wall a bit, and so AMS is going to pass, possibly, into turn 7. Damage, of course, still on Jack as well, from his collision with Tom earlier, and that's going to end in the wall. And I don't think Jack's going to be very happy about that one at all. It was easy to see that one coming, and Jack's going to fall to P7, I think, as a result of that. No front wing at all on the car. No damage for AMS, of course, he's got away with it, but yeah, Jack trundling around now with no front wing. And, well, sums his day up. Ski Van has actually got by AMS, so Ski Van up to P4. Well, I think he had it on penalties anyway. Two to go. It's looking good for Nick. Sophie in second isn't she's not catching by enough. Will is falling off the pace as well on his medium tyres. Looks like Nick's kept his in rather good nick. You know, pardon the pun. But the tyres seem to be okay. The ERS is pretty handy. He's managing the race pretty well. He's weaving a bit on the straight there. I don't know if that's a weave to celebrate already or what. You don't want to do that though. You don't want to make a fool of yourself. As Jack pits, all he pits is going to become a fast lap fight, I think, at this point. But Sophie might just get DRS in this last lap, and she needs to really put some pressure onto Nick now. She needs to force him into a mistake that gives him a penalty. That's the only thing that she can do. And obviously pass it, obviously make the overtake as well, but it's not really looking too likely. I think Nick has this one unless he makes a complete mess of this last lap. Jack, 5-second penalty for exceeding the track limits on the pit lane exits. Not that he really cares. Sophie within a second now, but once again she has to get past and then hope Nick gets a penalty. Let me just remind you, no penalties for the Mercedes driver, but one warning away. Sophie can actually afford, I think, another warning. Will she choose to do that? Let's find out. Final lap is about to start here at the Singapore Grand Prix. Sophie has got one more chance to put an attack on Nick. And she's not really, looks like she doesn't really look like she's got the grip, but then again, nor does Nick. They are way quicker now than Will, who's just fallen way off. I'm surprised the same thing isn't happening to Nick, to be honest. DRS for Sophie and a Haas as Nick has a real squirmy moment on the exit of turn 5. But the ERS is going to run out agonisingly. I think Nick has enough there, and Sophie might have just lost her chance. Nick is still keeping within the track limits right now. She needs him to start making a mistake. She needs him to get a puncture. What's the grip like? Let's ride on board with Nick. A lot of short shifting, really trying not to put any pressure on the tyre with the accelerator. Trying to have a nice smooth run up the gears. Yellows, that could be for one of the fastest lap runners. It's Tom preparing to start a lap. Full on quali mode there, I think. But, or is he just trying to finish the race? I don't know. Does he want to do the last lap or not? I don't really know. But Nick is going to catch this here. Sophie is so tight to the back. Where's Tom? Tom could really get involved in this because this yellow flags he's causing now, so any move from Sophie would be illegal. But I don't think it's going to happen. Nick round the final corner is going to win the Singapore Grand Prix. Sophie finishes second, 3.1 seconds behind, and Will is going to come home in third place. The fireworks are flying for Nick in his Mercedes. And what a race from him on those 20 lap old mediums. One more lap though, and Sophie would have had him. But great time management. He worked it all out. He knew he had to get to lap 31, and he did it perfectly. Great drive. Skivan 4th, AMS 5th. Tom obviously crossed the line 6th there. But who's going to get fastest lap? Will it be Ollie? Will it be Jack? Or will Tom keep his fastest lap? Let's find out. Through the final corners, he's hit the wall. Ollie's completely bottled it. There goes his fastest lap attempt. He will cross the line in P6. Will Jack nick the extra point? No, he's also gone and messed it up. I think Tom got the fastest lap then. I think Ollie's literally beaming the fireworks for that. Yep, Ollie's beaming the fireworks for that. Of course he is. Mr. Excuse there with an excuse. Oops, just get the podium. Apologies. Didn't mean to do that. And reading again. So here's the order then as they cross the line. Nick, Sophie, Will, Skivan, AMS, Ollie, Jack, Tom, Oshin is your first retirement actually. Then Max Luca, Warren, Abby, Greeny, Leggy Person, Lormans and Praga. Half the field finished, half the field crashed out and died in a very painful manner. In the wall. So that has been the Singapore Grand Prix. Thank you all for sticking for so long. It's always going to be a long one here at Singapore, especially when it rains, but certainly a race worth watching, a very good one. And special mention to pretty much everyone on the field for finishing. It was a great drive from all of them pretty much, and yeah, we'll end it off there. I haven't got a clue where we are next week. I'm not even going to try and predict it. I'll just see you wherever the hell we end up. Thanks for watching, thanks for sticking by. We had plenty of viewers up to the end there, and enjoy F1. Safe travels everyone.